Hari Om. Shalom to everyone. For the benefit of those who are coming for the first time today, a fortnight ago we started the 12th chapter entitled Bhakti Yoga, a chapter which consists 20 verses. The first 5 verses talk about the form and formless worship. Verses 6 to 12, he gives the progressive ways to reach God. And the last 13 to 20, he gives 35 qualities of a devotee of God. He paints a picture giving various aspects of spiritual development. Now, whenever there is a mention of these qualities, the qualities serve 2 purposes. The quality can either be taken as a path, can be taken as a yardstick to measure your own spiritual development. When you intensify the very same quality, magnify it to a point of fault, becomes the very goal itself. So each quality is a path and the goal. So you can use it to measure your spiritual status. You can also attain that spiritual perfection. So to the extent you have to the extent you are spiritually developed, you will in fact unknowingly, you will be exhibiting all those qualities. So you will have a medium, you will strike a medium and all those qualities will manifest at that level. If you're 30% developed, to 30% you will have all those 35 qualities. So there will be no contradiction in between those all those qualities. So is different, he paints different angles of perfection. And in fact, it will be revolutionary for the majority of people. The majority of spiritual people are actually emotional class of people. And it will be a revolutionary how he brings in a new dimension to what bhakti is, a new dimension to what devotion is. And sadly, it is too far away from what is the current perceived notion of being a devotee of God. And he very explicitly spells out, he who has these qualities is dear to me. I consider him as my devotee. That's important. You may claim yourself to be devotee of God, but does a God consider you as his devotee? Oh, I have gone to these spiritual pilgrimages. These are the offerings I've done. These are the rituals I perform. None of that is taken into account. None of those yardsticks actually draw in line or fall parallel to what the text is giving here. So the text began with Arjuna asking a question to the Lord. Do you consider worshipping God with a form, or do you consider I worship the God as the formless entity? He asks a question. Who do you think is best versed in yoga? To which the Lord, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, he says, those devotees who fix their mind on me here refers to the personality endowed with Shraddha, them do I consider best in yoga. In a sense, he is saying, I consider those who worship the God with a form are superior than those who worship the formless reality. We said there is a difference between, firstly, we should not take this verse as an absolute reality. Many people have interpreted worshipping God with a form as superior to worshipping God as the formless reality. In fact, it's on the contrary. As we learned, the spiritual beginners, they need a form to identify with the reality, with the God. As you spiritually advance, you shed the form and you switch to the formless. But if that be the truth, the answer he gives is contrary to the general perceived established truth. The reason is, he says, as a true teacher, a teacher is always calibrating the knowledge to the requirement of the student. The knowledge there was a one-to-one dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. So the knowledge was being given to the needs of Arjuna. So when he said that it's better to worship a god with a form, he means those who are at that level. He knew that Arjuna was not of the caliber he could relate to the god as a formless reality. So he needed a form. So therefore he said, you need form is better than formless. We've established that. We mentioned that just to get those who are coming here today for the first time. I see quite a new faces online as well. I hope you all can switch on your cameras. I always find it very important as a speaker to see the audience. That's when I can connect with you. Imagine if I were to talk to you without my video. You wouldn't know who is talking. You wouldn't know what is he talking. You can't concentrate. So it's better if you can, there will be that rapport between you and me. But if you feel there's anything to clarify, feel free to draw my attention, drop a note, or you raise your hand, I'll be able to engage you. Now, there are a few important points that we learned in the last session, which I want to pen it down. I would say the 6 important points. And it all started with the question I asked: in the spiritual path, do we need an idol? Is idol required in the spiritual journey? I don't want to get on with the interaction, but rather I want to pin down all the points that we established. So the concept that we learned is that point 1, an idol represents the ideal. And we said an idol is something that is known to you. An ideal is unknown. And what is unknown? The term God. The term God is unknown to us. We don't know what God is. So an idol represents the ideal. Now, point 2. The entire spiritual journey is with an idol. What I mean is, in fact, there is no stage or no phase of your spiritual journey you can go on without an idol. Imagine a person who's impaired. He doesn't have the strength of his limbs, so he uses an external prop to walk. Without that, he can't walk because he doesn't have a strength to be independent. So your entire spiritual journey, right from a spiritual beginner, right till the last stage, the verge of realization, which is meditation, you use an idol. So it's impossible to carry your spiritual journey without an idol. You must understand that. So it is not spiritual arrogance, and we say that a person who is spiritually evolved attuned to the formless reality. They're also using an idol. What form of an idol? An idol, we said, can either be gross or subtle. What does it mean, gross? Tangible, anything with a form, something that you can see, perceive. Subtle is intangible. Okay, what are other grosser forms of idol? A mental image. Couldn't that be subtle, sir? A mental image, is it not subtle idol? I'm talking of gross idols. What all can be gross idols? One is a tangible, a deity, or going to a temple, church, or a mosque, or a linga, or some murti, or it could be a crescent or a cross, or it could be a om symbol, whatever it is. It's a gross thing, it's a tangible thing that you use to associate your thoughts with. What are the other gross idols? Sorry? You're talking of a type of idol. It can be made of a lump of earth or a stone. How does it matter? It is still an idol. Sorry? Forms of nature, you can worship fire, elements were worshipped, water is worshipped. Every ritual you use water. Every time you're performing yajna or homam or even any spiritual offering, there's water, right? Worshipping the elements, trees, earth, everything. Yes. What are other forms of gross idols? Yes, an idol, a personality. So on. What are subtle idols? Sorry? Scriptures. The scriptures that we are studying are subtle idols. You can't think of the higher without the idol, without the scripture. What are scriptures? The teachings of men of wisdom. So the knowledge is an idol. No. You still need a gross image, no? You still need a gross image, but you are idealizing it mentally, but you still need a gross form to relate to it. If I take away that form, you don't have anything to hold on to. So what prompts you to hold on to is a gross form. So I still say the gross, it's still the grosser idol. It can be a subtle is a principle, a value, or an ideology, or something that inspired you. Absolutely. Sorry? Om, in fact, Om is subtlest of all idols. If you want to get to subtlest, you can say, as I said, knowledge. And the last is Om. Do you know why is Om the subtlest of all idols? There is no subtler idol than Om. Maybe I'll get to that later.
Nada Brahmam, then
Sorry?
they say Shabda Brahmam, Nada Brahmam. So is
of
that, are they referring to the subtle idol or are they referring to the Brahman itself?
Shabda again is sound, no?
Yeah.
Relating to
Om is a
Shabda Brahman, yeah.
Mm.
So subtle idols. And
No, they use the word Brahman in conjunction. That's why I'm wondering.
yeah, why? Because it is associated with Brahman. That takes me to the next point. Which point is that? Point number? The point number 4. Many falter here. Many falter in 4 and 5. The only purpose of an idol is to get to the ideal. That is the only purpose the idol is meant for. Whatever idol, whether it be a gross idol, it can be a subtle idol, a tangible, intangible, it can be an idea, it can be anything, it can be a guru, it can be a scripture, it can be a piece of stone or a tree. The only purpose of an idol is to take you to the idol. It's like, are you thinking of the steps that got you here? If there was no flight of steps, you wouldn't have reached the first floor into this auditorium. But are you concerned about the steps or the lift some of you have taken? No, it was just a means to get me here. You didn't sit and admire the steps. If they were beautiful enough, you didn't sit and say, oh, what a beautiful step, what a beautiful view. No, you didn't get caught up in that. You used it to get here. Thereafter, once you got here, they become irrelevant to you. They don't matter to you, do they? Similarly, every person in the spiritual field must diligently use the idol only to get to the ideal. And in order to do that, the last and the most important point is do not get attached to the idol. If you do so, the idol itself becomes an impediment in your journey. 1 minute, sir, 1 minute, 1 minute. Just let it sink in, please. Don't get attached to the idol, because the purpose of an idol is only to get you to the ideal. And your spiritual journey begins with an idol, your spiritual journey ends with an idol. And there is no spiritual journey without an idol. Putting a tilak on my forehead also is an idol. When I see you, I see your bindi. Simple and round, not complicated. Something you may put a caterpillar also. It will go somewhere. Huh? All sorts of things you will find. Bindi is just, what is it? When I look at you, you remind me of the Atman, the third eye. I need to gain that eye of wisdom. And I see you, you remind me. When you see me, I remind you. So the bindi or the chandan or the namam on the forehead symbolizes that awakening of the third eye, that the goal, the purpose, which is to realize ourselves. So as insignificant and as a mark on your forehead symbolizes, it's an idol. So does it serve its purpose? Is it serving its purpose? Not to me. I put it for your sake. You put for my sake. Remember that. The garb I wear serves me as a purpose. It protects me from any activity which is not going to take me to my goal. A reminder that what am I? What am I doing? What is my purpose of whatever I'm doing? What have I chosen? What path have I chosen? So everything in the spiritual journey is an idol, sir. Everything. The most insignificant to the most significant. So journey cannot start with an idol, and the journey ends with dropping the last idol. Only when you drop the last idol and you reach the ideal. But what's important is you are in the spiritual path. What is the purpose of being in the spiritual path? Is everybody in the spiritual path for self-realization, sir? How many in this classroom, online and physical, are actually there for self-realization? Tell me, honestly. If even 1% of you all are wholeheartedly saying, my life is only, I'm surviving only for that purpose of realization, I'll be flattered. I'll be really genuinely flattered if you say, self-realization, moksha is my purpose, sir. Nothing else. But my question is, what is the purpose you are in the spiritual field? Sorry? To evolve. The only purpose you're there is to evolve. And how will you evolve? When will you evolve? Only when you apply the fifth point. Do not develop any form of attachment to any idol. The idol is like the innocuous steps that help you to go to the hall. The objective is come to the hall, not how you get there. Yet you needed the steps. Having come here, they become immaterial. So the problem is majority of the spiritual people are stuck in the spiritual field. And sadly, they don't realize it. And the job of a guru is to pull you out of your attachment. A true guru does that. Pulls you out of your attachment to the idol and takes you on to the higher ideals, higher goals, helps you to move on to the higher realms. Otherwise, you stagnate. And if I were to go a little harder in trying to take away that idol, I will unsettle you. I will unsettle you. If a guru oversteps in trying to pull a student out of his attachment, the student will drop the guru. So it's a very delicate balance of surrender and help. If you don't surrender, no guru will interfere with your life. He will be conscious and unmindful of your spiritual wandering or meandering. He will not interfere because you're not surrendered. The famous episode of removing an idol is the great Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who was worshipping goddess Kali. Can you imagine, while he was in his prayer hall, during the moments of prayer, his guru Totapure comes and demolishes the idol? Such a sacrilegious act of demolishing, destroying an idol which is worshipped. Many don't understand, they misunderstand what the great guru did. But what guru gave to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was giving moksha, because he was stuck to that idol and the guru knew that. So took away the idol. And I don't spend my time analyzing your personality, because the time I have, I use it for my own development. Why should I be concerned, overly concerned, unnecessarily concerned? What are you stuck with? When you're not surrendered, it's none of my business. No? But if I were to apply myself without great difficulty, I would know what you're holding on to. And it's very easy to let go of you, to get rid of you, is to touch your point of sensitivity, unsettle you in your areas of attachment with the intention. But if you're not ready for it, you'll drop me. First thing is you drop me. And history, masters had gone a little, that's extra step to transform the society, and they made sure they were terminated from the society. They were either given poison, or they were crucified on the cross, or they were stoned to death. Why? They wanted to do good to the society, but they crossed that step. That little further they went to change others, and there was a backlash. So these few points that we did discuss have to be kept in mind, because when we talk of worshipping the God with a form or formless, both of them are only idols. Either you worship a God with a form or without a form, they are only idols. Now, coming to the question I asked, the Om is the subtlest of all idols. So the last leg of your spiritual journey, the last leg, you may use it before, but it will not serve the purpose because you're not ready for it. The last leg is to chant the mantra Om. So when you're meditating, when you're seated in that, in peace, in sanctity, in that sanctified place to meditate, you use the mantra Om. You can chant many mantras to meditate. You can say Om Ganapataye Namaha, or you can worship your guru, or you can worship any form. Now, what is the difference between worshipping or chanting any mantra vis-a-vis chanting the mantra Om? I'm touching on it because we mentioned it. Otherwise, it can be a detailed subject which I wouldn't get into detail, but just mention it for what it's worth. Why is Om the subtlest of all idols? Sorry? It doesn't have a physical image or a form. So what? So what is the benefit of it?
Not fixed on the. Your attention is not fixed onto that physical form or image. So because Om is kind of non-existent image, or there's no real form in that.
You're almost there. But then what's the benefit of it?
So you're not attached to that form. Your focus can be more at a higher level than the gross level. I think so.
Okay. Yeah, Preetima.
It is supposed to be the primordial sound. It permeates the universe and it's supposed to be within you also. So if you chant, it's like becoming one with what is around you.
So
that is why it's the subtlest of all whatever idols. Because it permeates everything, it permeates space, it's within you.
oh, Ganesha is everywhere. I see Ganesha and everything.
No, but these are vibrations, right? If it's the primordial sound, it has a certain resonance, a certain vibration, which is far more potent than anything else, which is far more all-pervasive than anything else. Yeah, so I said primordial sound, so.
She already said it, sir. Please don't unsettle the authority. It's already been said. Patented, yes. Established, man. No more, no further comments to that. How dare? My God.
Om is subtlest form because of its tremendous potential to take you to the realm of a singing silence.
Well, others don't take you there. Huh?
No, because Om has that inherent potential.
Mhm.
Because the greatest challenge for a seeker is to silence the mind.
Hmm.
You can silence your mouth, you need not speak. But how
that also we are finding difficult nowadays.
So silencing the mind, I think Om is an invaluable tool because it will take you to the rhythmic breath, become one with the breath, and then you.
So you don't chant the mantra Om to calm the mind. A calm mind will chant mantra Om.
Either way.
No.
Hmm.
One is used as a means to calm the mind. Another thing is a qualified and a meditative mind chants the mantra. They're two different things. In fact, as I've said, the last journey, the last leg of your spiritual journey is meditation. So you have already done all the sadhana. Your aneka janma tapas converges to those precious moments where you're trying to meditate. Swami Ramatirtha says Christ got stuck at Savikalpa Samadhi.
Got stuck at?
Savikalpa Samadhi, known as partial realization. If only Christ put a little more effort, he would have attained total Samadhi, which is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Can you imagine what is the commandment of the great Ramatirtha to comment on Christ? So, people at the caliber of the great Christ got stuck at partial realization. Today, meditation is being marketed like a global commodity. We're talking of caliber of Christ and Buddha. One in a generation, people will reach that state where they are in that true silence, where they are able to realize the self. So you need to do a lot of groundwork where all your vasanas and desires and attachments are shed, where your mind is so pure, so elevated that it gets locked, it gets lodged in meditation, in that lofty ideal. So it is, that's why it is not something which I can use. I may use Om now, but it is something which is meant for only at that stage, at that last stage. Yes, Vasantama. Solungo. Pass the mic, Amma.
When you're in the thoughtless state, when you chant Om, you get to this thoughtless state in between two Oms.
Obviously, in between two Oms, like for example, when you're chanting, we chant Om. Om. What is there between two Oms?
Nothing.
What is there between two sounds?
Nothing.
They're silent, right? They're silence. Now, the beauty of Om is, now, if you want to understand the beauty of Om, if I were to chant, okay, how would you chant the great Guru Shankaracharya? Is there a Nama Japa you can do of Adi Shankaracharya? Because it's Shankara Jayanti today. Okay, if I were to start chanting, Hara Hara Shankara, Jaya Jaya Shankara. If I were to chant that. So what is the idol I'm chanting? The great Shankaracharya. So when I use the great Adi Shankaracharya as an idol and I chant, I'm meditating. And as I'm meditating, I'm saying, Hara Hara Shankara, Jaya Jaya Shankara. I'm chanting this. When I do that, what happens? Your mind is associating with the form of the great Adi Shankaracharya. You are reminded of the great personality. When you talk of the personality, you're reminded of his works, of his texts, the great impact. Oh, then you say, while you're meditating, you think, oh yes, I went to Kaladi. Then I remembered I had masala dosa outside that restaurant there. Then again you will say, oh, I went to Joshirmat. Then I went to Sringeri. My pending list is I want to go to Enga Sridhar Enga. Irkara? Sridhar? Enga sir? Just now I saw you, now you become disappeared suddenly. Da. Enga sir? Ninga period Swami writing ninga. Kanchi might poet ninga Swami writing ninga. Hyderabad different roopama. Anga different roopam.
prayer முடிச்சு அதனால இப்படி உட்கார்ந்திருக்கேன் சார்.
எங்க சார்?
prayer முடிச்ச உடனே உட்கார்ந்துட்டேன் கிளாஸ்ல.
பிரேயர் பண்ணிட்டு வந்தீங்களா? சரி. பிரேயர் அப்புறம் ஒரு ரூபம், பிரேயருக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு ரூபமா? சரி. Why I took mention of Sridharji is because he just went to Kanchimat. So while you are thinking of Jaya Jaya Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara, you're meditating thought. What happens? All this association of thoughts with the great Shankaracharya and the mats and all that will be mobilized in your mind without any effort because there is association of thoughts. So many thoughts will come. And what is the objective of meditation, Ramji? Objective of meditation is to get to the state of thoughtlessness. So if I chant anything which has an association of thought, it defeats the very purpose. But when you chant the mantra Om, there is no association of thought. That's what you almost got it. Asantama. VAP. Junior. When she said that, almost she was there. There is no association of thought when you chant the mantra Om. Obviously, it is that monosyllable, it's a universal sound. Even a mute can utter that word Om. Om is that universal sound. It is housed in all religions. Every religion has the word Om. And those of you who want to understand the profundity of the mantra Om, I am sure all of you have collected that works of that great Swami Ramatirtha, which I've often recommended to you all. And those of you who don't have it, please Google it and get hold of that copy. It's called In Woods of God Realization. I repeat, Gayatri Mak, if you can request you to please put it in the chat box for us, for everybody. In Woods of God Realization, there are a volume of 7 books. For a throwaway prize, you'll have it. In Woods, WOODS, In Woods of God Realization. And he writes he has not written a book. All his lectures are actually written by those who heard him, where he lectured in the early years in US and Japan. And in one of the books, I don't know which volume it is, one of the volumes, he writes on that symbol Om. He lectures on the symbol Om, which is the most exhaustive explanation you'll get what symbol Om means. He justifies how even Islam, there is the word Om. Every religion has the word Om. How it is a universal monosyllable sound, what is the benefits of it, and so on. He does an open heart surgery of the Om symbol. So whether you can be a spiritual beginner crawling, or you can be in the height of spiritual glory, you need an idol of some form or the other. So our approach to it is use it until it gets you to the next level. Once you've got to it, drop the lower and pick up another idol. Keep dropping and picking up. That is the whole purpose of the journey. Don't hold on to it for the rest of your life. It's like, have you not gone through kindergarten? Have you not gone through schooling? Have you not gone through college? Have you not gone through every phase of your life? Are you holding on to that phase? It served its purpose then. Now it becomes irrelevant. In fact, it is jarring because you're holding on to a kindergarten certificate, hanging on and say, I was a topper in kindergarten. Right? You're still not grown out of it. You're carrying a kindergarten. Everybody comes to the house. You take your showroom, your home in your huge, what is that? Showcase. Starting from the my favorite certificate is kindergarten certificate. Correct? Wall of fame. Wall of fame. You can't do, you must, as absurd as it may sound, when I interact with you all, what is evident is your attachments. Unknowingly, you are throwing your attachments to me, and I can effortlessly see you all what you're stuck with. As I speak to you all, my genuine appeal to you is drop it. And the fact that you're holding on to it, you're not growing out of it. And why people are attached to the spiritual world is because it is far greater pleasure. Famous words of Nishavasya. If you're attached to the material world, you're in darkness. If you're attached to the spiritual world, you're in greater darkness. I can understand you're in a problem. I understand the reason, but please drop. Not easy. Yes, sir.
In the context of dropping the idol, Ramana Maharshi says, like the stick which is used to stir the fire when you do an omam. Finally, the fire itself is thrown, the stick itself is thrown into the fire.
Correct.
That way you drop.
It's true. Standard.
And yet another beautiful story in the life of the Buddha. A king called Surya Ketu, he doesn't believe in the Buddha, but his wife is an ardent devotee. So she brings him, and he brings a gold coin and a lotus flower in both the hands and comes to the Buddha, and he offers it to him. The Buddha says, drop it. Why is this? I'm after all giving a piece of gold. Again, he says, drop it. Then he says, at least accept this lotus flower. Again, he says, drop it. No, you have to drop things to merge into that infinite silence.
The most difficult thing is to let go. Yes, sir, please, by all means.
In
Can you-
the process of dropping the idol, let's say, and as you were saying, the Guru helps you to go there. So, is it possible to drop the Guru itself? Because in the process, he's facing the idol with another idol.
My concern is, the first class is coming, he's asking the Guru, can I drop you? With a heavy heart, I would say, yes, it's possible, please do so. First class is coming, sir, how can you ask a question? Second, third class, I understand, okay, there are visitors who come and go, you know. So the only, sir, it's like you as a parent. You have given everything to your child. The best that you can offer, given to the child, education, everything. But without what objective you give him? That one day he doesn't need me anymore. He becomes self-sufficient, goes into the world and lives a life for himself. Charters a life what he wants to pursue. Isn't that haven't you envisioned that you want your child to be self-sufficient? You sat behind him or her, taught how to drive a bicycle or a tricycle or a two-wheeler or a car, taught him banking, taught him every phase of life, how to be sure and secure. Having taught him, say, now you're in his life. If he's piggybacking on you, even at this phase of your life, you say, man, I've gone somewhere wrong. If as an ordinary parent, you expect that from a child, these great men of wisdom, you think they want you to carry them around your neck like an albatross? That's what you're doing. We're carrying gurus around our necks like an albatross around our neck. Huh? If it's a garden, understandable, but it is it's rotten. I'm still here carrying it. I'm not demeaning, sir. I'm only trying to tell you, I have a guru, I've been with the guru, but I'm sure my guru will be very happy that I'm self-sufficient. But that doesn't mean you, like, I'm not wrong, it is, who is that? Who's one of the very, Aurobindo, who started? Aurobindo. Started Aurobindo Ashram, who started it? Mother.
Srima Aravind.
Who is the founder of it? I don't know. Forget Aurobindo. Jiddu Krishnamurti. Jiddu Krishnamurti says, he says, throw away all gurus, he says. You have any guru, just throw him out. I'll not throw this because it's important. He says, throw out all gurus. Openly says. You get it? So you use the guru to the extent it helps you evolve. And in fact, a true guru, sir, I'll give you with an example. A live experience. I remember receiving my guru in Singapore, waiting to receiving for Singapore lectures. I was there at the airport. This was early morning, 5:30 in the morning. And I know the gate is coming. There is unusual, there are a lot of Indian expats there. But even though in an international arrival, to have, let's say, close to 100 odd Indian, especially from a particular community, there were Sindhis or Gujaratis, I don't know, but Northern community, 100 odd people were gathered. We thought it's some wedding invite party coming, such a big party coming and receiving. Then we realized there was a spiritual Swami coming. And the drama was that man comes, I don't want to mention names because no disrespect. The man comes, sits at a place, a serpentine queue of 100 people formed, each one going, offering him something, receiving a lollipop. I very well remember. Lollipop was given, and this drama went on for half an hour or so. And we know that even though Swamiji is in business class, he'll be the last person to come. He has no rush. He'll come calmly, he'll come. He's not sitting somewhere in the back. Even though he'll be in business, he'll not come. So we were waiting because Swamiji will come, no problem. And we were seeing the drama. And both came in the same flight. Irony is they're in the same flight. And there are only two people receiving Swamiji, me and some other person. 100 people came. It's not the question of who is popular, who is better, who is not. That's not the point. It's our arrogance to compare that. And seeing that, there was a discussion between me and Swamiji. Said, why do spiritual gurus allow people to flock around them? My guru never allowed anybody to flock around him. If you are with him, there is a purpose, and once that purpose is met, you're not meant to be there around him. The question almost is, why are you here? What? He just looks at you, what is it for? What is it? If there's something need there, you can sit with him. But once it's served, no hanging around business. Not a business guru. To the point. Business in the sense, that conveys a wrong thing. What it means is, what is the guru trying to, I'm not trying to demean anybody or demonize or divinize anybody, please don't get me wrong. I'm trying to explain a concept, answering a question. What is the job of a guru? The job of a guru is to give the knowledge and make the shishya stand on his own, self-sufficient, and whenever he needs, he is always available. Like even in the corporate world, he says a leader is always approachable. But a leader would never want his team to be always dependent on him, that if the leader is not there, that the whole department or the whole project collapses. No, he makes it self-sufficient irrespective of him. In fact, nowadays leaders are invisible leaders, isn't it? The true leader is not seen. So even in the absence of leader, the leadership's mentoring and roles are seen very evident. The leader doesn't have to be present in the thick and thin of every decision that is taken or the progression of an organization. So he's an invisible leader. So the guru, a true guru, ensures the student becomes self-sufficient. Now the problem is, again, I'm not demonizing, please. The teacher encourages the student to hang around him because you may say he's catering to the student. The problem is the teacher also needs the student. The student is dependent on the guru also is dependent on the following. It's a catering. Catering. So I am dependent on you. You are insecure. You may be dependent on me, understandable, but I am dependent on you, that is, I don't want to see there. I'm going to get in trouble with the question there. So, 1 minute, ma. So it's important. Use it as long as you need it. But once it serves the purpose, don't hold on to the guru. And to which Vedanta tells us there is a very clear demarcation between the lifestyle and the teachings of a guru. If I look up to the guru, what must inspire me is the teachings, not holding on to the personality. The problem is those who hold on to the personality forget the teachings. So in comparison to the teachings and the immortal wisdom they have left behind, the personality is non-essential. The personality is limited. He has come and gone in history. But the teachings are immortal. No, they don't die. Why can't I hold on to the immortal teachings than holding on to the personality and the figure? Today you find spiritual institutions holding on to the personality and the figure and the life-size statues and vigrahas and abhishekas and goes on and on and on. What are you worshipping? The non-essentials, man. You may want to use it as symbol, no doubt, but why are you worshipping the idol? If I put Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue and I worship him, will the country become prosperous? Will there be unity in the country? Or should I instill his principles which he envisioned for the country? How does it matter how high his statue is? What's important is how deep have I ingrained his principles to bring a unison country, isn't it? Rest of the year, the birds are using to perch and messing up the statues all over the country. Come the year, come the day, come the time, you will garland. Pritima, talking of garlanding. You garland the statue. Mahatma Gandhi Day, birthday, 2nd of January, all Gandhi statues are cleaned up with jet cleaners, garlanded, decorated, celebrated. Rest of there, what happens? Dust and bird droppings. That's all there. Is that what you look up to? Or if I can imbibe the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi in every walk of my way, that is a symbol. Not just putting a statue or a. That's what, no. Ekalavya teaches us that. The story of Ekalavya, when Ekalavya was rejected by his guru, he made a statue of the guru and learned. So how does it matter? A guru can be dead or alive. As long as if you have the caliber, you will learn it. Though guru is kept at a very high pedestal in the spiritual field, but that doesn't augur you to develop undue attachment to the guru or anything for that matter. Everything has a purpose. You must use it for its purpose. So if a guru can help you evolve, use it. If a guru is not reminding you of the goal, don't associate with the guru. Don't associate. If your guru doesn't remind you of the goal, don't associate. So where is your association? With the ideal, not the guru. Because that's what they say. Guru is what? Guru is only a signpost. A guru is said to be a signpost as a pointer pointing to the truth. Guru is not the truth. Guru is a pointer to the truth. Guru is a signboard.
Finger pointing to the moon.
Correct. Finger pointing to the moon. Sir. Guru is not the finger. Sorry, finger is not the. Confused pandringa ninga. Ayyo. Little philosophy I know, you people come and confuse me. Yes, Pritima. Please be considerate when you ask.
No, I'm not asking. I have a doubt. You were talking about people flocking around the guru or towards the guru. Now, it's not as if people want to just give adulation or the guru needs adulation. It is also possible because the guru exudes a certain aura, a certain benign energy, and you want to be within that energy field to receive, something positive, something benevolent. So I see no harm in that happening for a brief while. You can peel off later, but it's good to be a part of that atmosphere.
Indeed, everything has a charm. Beyond a point, it becomes suffocating. So I'm talking from a point of guru. It's suffocating, no? We also need little space.
Yes, but I think as long as they don't suffocate you, I don't think devotees necessarily suffocate or people seekers necessarily suffocate. If they suffocate, yes, you have to retreat and you have to make sure they retreat also. But I think it's a mutual thing because you have something to give and they have something to receive. And as long as that spirit of receiving the right thing continues, I see no harm in it happening for brief periods because it's a form of recharging for the seekers.
Indeed, as long as it is done consciously. The point I'm making is people are oblivious about it. Perhaps you didn't even register until I mentioned of it. The gurus need attention. the students need attention. So guru is catering to the student is catering to the guru. So it is a nice. I don't know of that society, if it is a formal registered society or not, but it's a prevalent thing. You give the emotion, but don't become a slave to that emotion. I'm not saying you should not have it. It's a pure emotion. In fact, of all emotions, it's that emotion to a guru is something very, very special. And if you don't have one, you don't know what it is to Dorakuna. That song. Dorakuna Itwanti Seva. Your heart skips a beat. My heart skips a beat. So I mean, devotion is that love and affection and that space you have for the Guru.
Maybe that's what
I understood it, but I'm only saying as long as if it is consciously done. Like Guru is also an idol in your spiritual journey. And you have to consciously use it, wisely use it to grow. And once you do it unmindful of the points that we enlisted, you will develop an attachment. So it is only caution to the air to be mindful that everything serves a purpose for your upliftment. So Guru also comes into your life. He only comes because you have allowed the Guru to come. As they say, when the student is ready, the Guru arrives. It's happened because you are ready for it. But don't allow that exercise to limit you to that experience or that situation alone. It should help you to grow. That doesn't mean to say, oh, Guru, thank you very much, get out. No, it's not that. It is that you hold it with great sanctity, no doubt. But with a great sense of independence and self-sufficiency. In fact, in Vedantic teaching, it said, you become the authority yourself because you have realized the truth. There's a context to this. I'm off the course, but I should give due mention of it. An Upanishadic student goes to a guru in the woods, asking, what is God? He asks a simple question, what is God? I'm putting the clock back to Vedic times. The master gives an advice to the student, and those days the knowledge was given only in bits and pieces. There was no help. It was only given as an advice, an upadesha. No command, no, in fact, not an upadesha, no commandment. Perhaps the Guru would say, Tat Tvamasi, that thou art. So the student took that advice, a valuable advice the Guru gave, and he had to go and reflect to find out what the truth was. He spent days, weeks, months, came to an understanding. He went to the Guru to clarify, is this what God is? One thing that assurance from the Guru, have I reached the right conclusion? Is this God? And the only help the Guru gave was, neti, not that, not that. And he kept quiet, kept mum, nothing after that. Oops, I've reached the wrong conclusion. Now what? Start again. So he goes back again, sitting at the Ganges banks of the river in solitude, thinking afresh, what am I? What is that God? Again, after a few weeks, goes back to the Guru. He says, neti. 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. The Guru only said, neti, neti. The 7th time, he doesn't go back to the Guru. He doesn't go back to the Guru. Not that he was fed up, not because he was disrespectful to the Guru, not because he actually realized the truth. Once he has realized the truth, he is authority. He doesn't need the Guru to tell him, hey, you are telling Brahman. He is a Guru himself. He's a master himself. And the Guru understands it, the Shishya understands it, the followers don't understand it. They misunderstand. Look at the purpose of the Guru. The Guru did not wait for the student to come up and seek his assurance. He becomes authority himself. And that is what a Guru wants. If my Guru gave that knowledge to me, he wants me to become authority because the truth stands on its authority, not because he said so or his Guru said so. Truth doesn't need anybody's sayings. Its truth is its authority. Now, can I figure out what the truth is? And the day, believe me, my dear friends, the day I unfold and discover the truth, I become the authority. I don't need to say it because somebody said so. I don't need to parrot the gurus. And that does not mean I'm being disrespectful to the guru or the guru of all gurus. Because the truth has to be spoken. And once you realize the truth, it speaks for itself. The self speaks through me. The self now is speaking through me, not because somebody said so. It speaks to me to the extent I have realized. Maybe I realized 5% or 40% or 70%. Don't waste your time finding out what percent, please. To that extent, I have realized, to that extent, it is the truth. To that other extent, I may be relying on other sources to draw that inspiration. So that's the job of Guru, sir. Next time, we'll not ask question. Because half an hour he spoke about it. Huh?
In this context, Guruji,
Sir.
the Guru told the disciple,
Uh,
enlightenment is very simple. It is as simple as waking up in the morning and watching the sunrise. Disciple said, it's so simple. Getting up in the morning and watching the sunrise, then why do I need a guru? The Guru said, to ensure that you're awake when the sun rises.
correct. He's done his job.
So once that is ensured, see the sun enlightened.
Don't say Guru's alarm, please. What do you do? Guru is only snooze button. Hey, chumma reda, don't make noise. I want to sleep. Why are you so quickly arrived? Haresh, how soon when your alarm wakes you up, what would you do? Don't you curse the alarm? Chi 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 chi. This fellow has woken up me again. He is saying Guru is like a snooze button. But what do? Shut up. I don't want you now. After half an hour, wait, I'll extend it. That's the reason, one day I saw somebody's phone, there were 10 alarms. Same day, same time, 4 o'clock, 4:10, 4:20, 4:30, 4:50. Sleep, I don't know installment, but waking up also is installment only. After the snooze, the 10th alarm will wake up. So, Alex, would you say Guru is like a snooze button? Please don't.
No,
Don't do that like that. Alex, would you do that?
no, Guruji, no. Not at all.
Not at all, isn't it? Not at all.
Not at all.
All right, let's chant verses 3 and 4. We concluded in the second verse last week, so we will chant 3 and 4 together. Just read and we'll come back next week to explain. Ye tvaksharamanirdesyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyam cha kutastamachalam dhruvam. 4. Samniyamyendriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutahite rataha. Now 3 and 4 are chanted together because these two verses are giving pointers for formless worship. Those amongst you who are capable of doing formless worship, these two mantras will help you invariably. What does the verse read? Having well restrained all the senses. The third verse reads, those indeed who worship the imperishable, the unmanifest, omnipresent, unthinkable, unchanging, immovable and eternal. In the fourth verse he says, having restrained all the senses, regarding everything equally, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings, they also reach me. So the word me here means the Atman, the self. The second mantra, when he used the word me, it meant the personality, Mr. Krishna, the form. Here he means the Atman, the formless reality. So look at the pointers. So the devotional people need a form. Aparagaru. The devotional people need a form. The intellectual people relate to the formless. And these two parts are given because you find a society is a mixture of emotional and intellectual. And what is the percentage of emotional and intellectual in a society, or in any society for that matter, at any point of time? What's the percentage? Any idea? Please spare a room for us somewhere. No,
I have not seen it.
not seen anybody. Aparagaru, there was this dialogue between Duryodhana and Lord Krishna. And Duryodhana says, I have not seen a single soul who is straightforward, who is virtuous, who is man of values. 1 minute. You said your point, let me complete it. Conversation between the Lord himself and Duryodhana. Duryodhana, is as crooked fellow, the most crooked fellow, arch crook, that fellow. Duryodhana, correct? And conversation between him and Lord Krishna is, he's saying, I have gone around the world, I couldn't find a single cultured fellow. Every fellow is corrupt in some level or other. And Krishna is appealing to him, not a single fellow you found who is virtuous, who is single fellow. He said, not a single fellow. He is including Krishna also is polluted. Look at the conviction of Duryodhana that he said, not a single soul. So he was so clear. He himself included, and then including himself, Krishna also is polluted. Like that, Apara is saying 100% people in the world are all devotional. I'm appealing 1% at least intellectual. No, sir, no intellectual at all. Now, person, I'm asking him intellectual. I'm intellectualizing sitting here. He's saying not a single soul is found. So I don't know. And the Madri, you are passing a sweeping remark, sir. Please, 1.1% you can give. I was reminded of, I've appealed only because I was reminded of what Duryodhana said. That doesn't mean Apara is Duryodhana caliber. It may. I appreciate that. Candid comments. So, in fact, majority of people in the society are emotional class of people. Majority. I don't know, you may want to put a percentage to it, 90, 10, 95, 5, maybe. There's a very insignificant percentage of people are intellectuals. And they need the formless worship. And they are the introverted people. Vis-a-vis the extroverted people. The extroverted people, they need exhibition. They need it to be a grand spectacle. They need to go to Mount Kailash to invoke, to see Brahman, to see God. Who is denying the Brahman is not there in Mount Kailash? When did we say he's not there? But we are only saying that's not the only address of God. He is there everywhere, Sarvatra. If he says Sarvatra, means there is no place where he doesn't exist. But then why am I not able to see everywhere? Because I don't have the eyes to see. I only see pocket manifestations of Brahman in certain places, certain times, certain locations. That is not limiting God, it is limiting my perception of God. My perception is limited. That God is not limited to pocket manifestations. And then we further say, oh, that area has got more energy. What are you talking? Brahman is more announced there and less pronounced here. Can't. And yet when I have conversation with people, they'll convince me there is some energy there in the temple. There's some energy in the deity. There's some energy in that puja. There's something in that prayer. I only say yes, correct. How can I, having spoken the truth, how can I again, how can you say that? I can't say. Can I? Can I say, Ramji? That is the limitation. I appreciate what you're saying, but I also appreciate that you can't see what I'm saying. Can't see. So the text, the chapter in particular, caters to the devotional and the intellectual. Yes, sir.
So two things here. One is
Two things, sir.
two points.
Okay, sir.
First point is about devotional and intellectual. I think we are all, most of us, everybody is a mixture of both. There's nobody who's free from emotion, there's nobody who's free from intellect. In some one dominate, in some another dominate, and also depending on circumstances at a point in time. So I think to that extent, there's nothing purely this or purely that. And sometimes you may be happy with bhakti, sometimes you may be happy with reading the scriptures and meditating. So it depends on your station in life, your nature, of course, but there is a preponderance in each person. So I think there is no such clear distinction. That's number one. And about the kshetram, and last time also we discussed kshetram, kshetragya, node of the field. I would put it this way. I mean, to the extent that I have perceived, I wouldn't discount the fact that a kshetram or a temple or a particular place has a certain sacred energy. But I would say that going by the Upanishadic and the Gita teachings, that may not be the highest form of truth. It is truth. The highest form of truth is the unmanifest, is the teaching of Gita pointing towards the Brahman. But that may not necessarily mean that a certain person does not have certain spiritual powers, or somebody doesn't have healing powers, or somebody doesn't, a spot doesn't have sacred energies. And there's no harm in benefiting from those if it has, as long as you still understand that there's good for the time being, but there is something higher.
Agree. Agree, sir. Who am I to disagree? There's nothing not the truth. Everything is the truth. That's the whole point, I'm saying. So we'll come back to the verses 3 and 4 and we go into the decoding what those mean. But as I've said, as you evolve, you will be far more attuned to appreciating the all-pervasive nature of God or reality. You'll acutely start relating, and to that extent, the hold of form onto you, the form leaves you. You don't leave the form. Like when you have grown out of the bicycle, you have not got, you didn't get rid of the bicycle. The bicycle was very, very much there. It got rid of you because you have grown up. You didn't get rid of the bicycle. Bicycles are there, the toys were there, all the collectibles which were very dear to you at some stage in your life were there. You didn't have to get rid of them. They got rid of you because your mind changed. So as you also spiritually evolve, you may be amidst all these tradition, rituals, practices, but they don't define you by place and position. Today we are spiritual by place and position. If I'm in a temple, if I'm in this place, if I'm in this position, I may have a greater spiritual arousal. Rather, irrespective of place and position, you will be able to attune to that reality.
Guruji, every prayer you do, whether it is idle or ideal, whatever.
Idle.
Mm,
Every prayer is an idol.
Okay. So, for example, if I do Vishnu Sahasranama, what you have in the third sloka, Anirdesha Pushti Imaname Atma. What does it mean? It means same thing what he has said in Gita.
Correct.
So if I am doing Vishnu, over a period of time, I may not understand in the initial stage what Vishnu Sahasranama, each Nama is. But over a period of time, with infinite repetitions probably, I would realize. It doesn't mean that, praying to only the intellect itself is the path. That's what I understand.
I'm not saying. Where is the text also saying? The text is only catering to different classes of people. We're only saying there
So,
are.
It happens naturally, I'm saying. We don't need to focus. It happens naturally. Every sloka you take or every prayer you make, ultimately you say that Sarvam Parabrahmanarpanamastu. So you are not taking anything. You ask God everything. I want dhanam, dhanyam, shakti, everything. Ultimately, you say that Sarvam Parabrahmanarpanamastu. So what is happening is over a period of time, you leave everything and everything goes to Brahma. So that's the beauty of the prayers. So one should not just pray like, without Atmajapam, without Atmajapam. He should internalize the prayer, whatever the chanting is. You don't need Gita or something. If you really, one sloka is sufficient for someone to read.
You have formed a club, sir. Union. You don't need the Gita, you don't need the Guru, you see.
Yeah, that's true, Guruji. You take, for example,
Before the wave spreads, we'll conclude the class.
no,
I'm insecure now.
Guruji, I'm not saying that. For example, if you say even the Ganapati Adharva Stotram, it says that Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasitam Khalvidam Brahmasi, everything. And so every sloka, one has to actually internalize whatever the sloka is. That's the beauty of the prayer.
How does it matter what it is? As you said, you can pick up the Vishnu Sahasranamam, or you can pick up any scriptural text. It is up to the student what he attunes to, because it has got entirety in it. As you referred to some Ganapati home, even in that they're talking of Brahman. So you attune to Brahman through Lord Ganesha. The question is, what are you attuning to in that? So in that ability to attune is where your level or where you stand in the ladder comforts you. Each has a comfort zone. Is that side? It's all around us, sir. We just have to see it. Right? We will come back and continue. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.